Just as a quick disclaimer before the video starts, this is a re-upload from my second channel. Now, there was a period for a while on this channel where I was experimenting a lot and then did discussion videos on my second channel. So this is from there. And this was just the one video on that channel that I thought was really well thought out and would just kind of be a waste to completely redo because I put a lot of thought into that video. And I brought a lot of good points up there. But just in case a few things didn't add up when I talked about my other channel on there, I just want you to know this is re-uploaded from there. But with that being said, everybody, go ahead and enjoy the video.
You jump and press the circle button.
Hey, how's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, guys, I'm going to be talking about a Sly Cooper remake. Not the possibilities of it happening, I've talked about that multiple times before, but I'm going to talk about the game itself, what I would like to see in it, and what I think it would take to make the game good. I originally was going to make this video just with Sly 5, but then I looked around, people have already done that, and I've done it to some extent on my older channel. That, and I also have a different opinion than others when it does come to Sly 5. I would actually like to see a Sly Cooper remake, a remake of the first game, than Sly 5 right now. For the first reason, Sly 1 just was always strange to me. I played Sly 2 first, then I went back and played Sly 1, and then I played Sly 3, and Sly 2 and 3 and even 4 nowadays play very different than Sly 1. And the thing is, it's not like I don't like Sly 1. I really enjoyed the story, and the gameplay was really good as well. But I always wondered what it would be like if we could play as Murray, or we could play as Bentley, or we'd actually have missions instead of the linear levels. I mean, in Sly 1, we had some pretty cool locations, such as Mesa City and the swamps for Vicious Voodoo, and I always wondered what it would be like if it was more open world, and we just had more stuff to do. Clue bottles, rooftop guards, all of that stuff. I mean, when it comes to the Sly Cooper series, I say the majority of us had the same opinion when it comes to the gameplay within Sly 1. We do enjoy the other games' gameplay better, although there are people out there who do like Sly 1's better, such as another YouTuber, the Purple Pluto. And for me, Sly 1 is just a good game. It's just a good game. But with Sly 2, 3, and even 4, they're great games. I love those games. The gameplay in them were phenomenal, and I love the mission-based setup. And I cannot stress how weird it was going from Sly 2, 3's, and 4's health system back to 1 with the horseshoes and everything. I just really did not like that. I also think it would be a good move by Sony to make a Sly Cooper remake before they make Sly 5. I mean, we've lost a lot of fans along the way. Take a look at the sales of Sly 4 compared to the other games, and also it's been about another 5 years since the previous Sly Cooper game. And then, of course, there's the Sly Cooper television series coming out pretty soon, I would imagine. And I don't know if that's going to go along with the first game or whatever. It could be its own separate thing, but especially if it doesn't, even if it doesn't, the remake would be the perfect thing to release along with that or sometime afterwards. Releasing a television series and a remake at roughly the same time would draw in a lot of new fans, and especially some older ones. If you drop a sequel to a game that a lot of people haven't really played, especially the fans of the series, because Sly 4 sold about half as much as Sly 2, they might be lost, and it would just be really weird. Releasing a remake in a television series, getting the old fans back, and, new fans as well. Then they go back, play the older games, play Sly 4, get it all caught up, then release Sly 5, and it would make a lot more sense. I know that's a lot of thinking ahead, but to me that's the ideal situation on how this would work out, and the Sly Cooper fans wouldn't get as mad, but me, like I said, I'd rather see a remake than Sly 5 at the moment because of that, and just how curious I am to see Sly 1 in this, newer Sly feel. It also really seemed like we were going to get one there for a while when the Sly Cooper movie was still, in the works. It was in development with Remake and everything. There still is a chance that we could get it, and then this game would go along with the movie as well. But, Sly's future is just, kind of up in the air right now. The TV series will have to succeed for the movie. I've said this a million times. I've been rambling on so long. Let's just go ahead and get into it. First, let's talk about the presentation. This is a tricky one. Now, considering we have a Sly Cooper television series coming out and the possibility of a movie, Sly's appearance is going to be changing within the next couple of years. And in fact, it kind of already has, because Sly 4 was the last game to come out in the series back in 2013. Then in 2014, we got the teaser trailer for the movie. Although that particular movie, the one by Rainmaker, isn't being made now, we still could get a movie, but it won't be by Rainmaker, and not the one that they envisioned it to be. So I wouldn't say that particular design would be absolutely canon right now. But, you know, there was also another thing. There was promotional art released for the television series, which kind of reused that same design, just, you know, not as detailed because this is a television series, not a movie. But, you know, at that time, the television series was in development. It's either in pre-production or further right now. So, you know, they might have changed it, tweaked it a little bit. Heck, it might look completely different. But I'd say if we were going to get a remake, and it was going to be sometime soon, you know, when the television series is released, you would think that it would be the same design as the television series. So the cel-shaded graphics may be gone. Personally, I never loved the cel-shaded graphics. I mean, they looked amazing in Sly 4, in my opinion, but on the PS2, I don't know, they were a little bit off. I'm not saying that the graphics were bad. I did really enjoy the art style of those 3 games, but they just felt a little bit off. When I saw the teaser trailer for the movie, I actually really liked it. I was, you know, kind of left alone when it came to that opinion. I know a lot of people did have problems with those designs. I know it was particularly Murray, but a lot of people weren't happy about Sly having pants, etc. Although they could always remove the pants. I mean, that was just a concept trailer. But either way, I thought it was good, you know? I mean, if Sly had pants and I did tweak Murray, I think it would look pretty good. And now, honestly, I didn't hate Murray's design, but just for the benefit of the majority of the people, let's say they tweak Murray's design. So in the end, we'd get this more CGI look, you know, more realistic backgrounds and areas to explore would be kind of cool as well, especially if we were in the swamp or Mesa City. And like I said, I did enjoy the models, so seeing them in CGI too would be great. I'm not gonna lie, I did like the look of the city that Sly and the gang were in that teaser trailer as well. So let's say they go with that design. This is my ideal Sly Cooper remake. Just saying, you know, leave your opinions in the comments below, but for this video, I just want to get it out there. These are my opinions. I also want to see a little bit more depth when it comes to the story and the characters. Maybe see a scene more in depth with, you know, Sly's father's death, you know, the night of the attack, and definitely something at the orphanage. I know a lot of people wanted it for Sly 5, but I would actually like to have the cookie scene or the cookie heist in this game. It would actually make a lot more sense to have it in a remake than a 5th installment of the game, unless you were going to tie it in some way. It just makes a lot more sense, especially if they were going to release a remake, and it would just add a lot more to the story, because with every single Sly game, especially with Sly 1, we just got, you know, a brief description of what happened, you know, then the game started, and you went from location to location, and then the game was over. I'd like to see a much more in-depth intro, and maybe some gameplay to go along with it. Although, still have the game start with that police headquarters scene. I really enjoyed playing that, and I'd love to see it in a remake, but after that, instead of just having the opening cinematic, I would love to have some gameplay to go along with that, especially in the orphanage. One thing I kind of wondered a little bit was, how would they incorporate Bentley and Murray into the game without completely reworking it? Because the Ratchet and Clank's gameplay has stayed pretty much the same ever since 2002, for the 2016 remake, they really didn't have to do much. They pretty much remade the same game with some minor tweaks. And I mean, the story was different, of course, but really in terms of gameplay, they didn't have to change much. They didn't have to change locations or who you play as. Really, it was very similar to the original. With this and, you know, converting it to Sly 2, 3, and 4's gameplay, it would be kind of difficult. Now, there are some gameplay aspects of those two characters that you could keep in a Sly Cooper remake, such as the Murray driving missions, which I just couldn't stand, but still, you know, rework them. This is 2017. I mean, you can do much better. And then, of course, the Bentley hacks, which we've had pretty much since the very beginning. But of course, there was only 2 Murray driving missions in the entirety of Sly 1, and only 1 Bentley hacking minigame, so maybe throw a couple more of those in there. And yes, you also would have to change quite a bit with Sly. Other than the mini-games, which they could easily throw in there, the linear level design of the original game would not be supported here. We're thinking about mission-based gameplay, you gotta remember that. Although something interesting that they can do is they can keep about one linear level mission per episode. I'm talking about the entry into the level, because you would always have an entry level, then go to the main hub, which would spread out into other levels. And then maybe some other areas you throw in some linear levels, because of course Sly 1 was completely built around that. Now we did have some still in future Sly games, so maybe have one or two in each episode. Think of something similar to like Sly's pickpocketing in Dimitri's nightclub, or Bentley bombing the disco room. Something similar to that, where you could visit areas they were able to visit in the original game, throw in some nostalgia, things that people will recognize, and just choose the important ones, the people that everybody liked, like High Class Thief. I really enjoyed that. And if you were gonna throw a lot of these linear levels into there, just have it centered around some sort of job, like Into the Machine. You could make it to where Sly goes in there to disrupt the Storm Machine. Or maybe Bentley goes in there, bomb the place like he did the disco room. Still have those areas and just center jobs around them. It would be a really good way to incorporate these areas to please older fans, as well as not let the gameplay to get repetitive, and still add in those new gameplay factors that a lot of fans do enjoy. That way you're catering to pretty much both ends of the spectrum, people who enjoyed Sly 1's gameplay and people who enjoyed the other way to play. Because making a Sly Cooper remake and going back to the original gameplay style would be kind of weird after 3 different games with a brand new gameplay style. And pretty much what I'm trying to say, taking in everything that I said before, you don't really have to change the game too much to cater to both audiences. And of course, you have the health meter, gadgets, stuff like that, really just needs to be in there for it to be a Sly Cooper game. I know the original didn't have that, but it's just a must-need in the series at this point. The clue bottles would be a little bit tricky, because the clue bottles in the original game were in those linear levels. And of course, you wouldn't have all the linear levels in a remake, and you want the clue bottles to be in the open hub world. Here's what I'm suggesting. Keep the clue bottles in the overworld and then save the keys for certain missions. Similar to the masks within Sly 4. I know a lot of people didn't like masks because they were super hard to collect, but these keys wouldn't be super hard to collect. In those little areas where, they would hide masks, and maybe in the overworld as well, put keys, and then you need a certain amount of keys to go ahead and unlock the cannon or whatever to get to the final boss. Maybe have it similar to clue bottles, where you would have to collect a total of 30 keys to get to the final boss. Maybe have like 15 of them or so in the overworld, and then in the linear levels and in certain missions, go ahead and throw in a few more, all the way up until like 45, 30, whatever. That way there would be an abundance of keys to where, new players and just, younger players in general wouldn't have to go around, scavenging for all of these keys, all 30 of them in each linear level. Definitely have 45 to maybe 60, and then you need 30 to go ahead and get into the cannon or whatever. Now, when it comes to episode 5, it's going to be a little tricky, because that was just a one-way, go all the way through, driving missions, hacks, whatever. You'd even play a Sly, really, until the very end. So they could completely change that up for all I care. I did not enjoy it all that much. I'm sure most people didn't. And really, they could just go crazy, make their own overworld, do whatever they want. I'm sure if there was a remake, they wouldn't do the same thing that they did in Sly 1, because to be honest, that was quite terrible, and really, it just wouldn't fly in a brand new game. Wow, in the end, there's just so much to talk about. I've been sitting here for 13 minutes talking about something that may not ever happen, but really, I just wanted to get into it because there is so much to talk about. So many things that I did want to share, and opinions that I had that I did want to tell you guys. And there still is so much to bring up in this conversation, but really, I don't want to keep you guys on this video any longer. It's been about 13 minutes. My videos are usually like half that long, so, that I'm going to leave it at that. Please remember that this video was created with just 100% my opinion. Now, for those of you who don't have the same opinion and would like to see something really different, this video might have been completely useless for you, so make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to know what you guys think, like, really this time, because there's just so many possibilities. If you're not already, remember, join the Sly Cooper link will be in the description. I'll also have the link in the description for this gameplay that you're seeing right here, which is from Cooper Curse. I do want to thank you for supplying me with this gameplay. He does supply me with all my gameplay. I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't talk about it too much. But that's all for today. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.